here alone. My, I want to talk about Erykah Badu's speech today because I saw a clip of it on TikTok. You know, when she had won her award, and couple of things that she said. I don't know, like, and I guess I talk like this. Like sometimes, like people have compared me spiritually and energetically to Badu. And so I definitely want to be accountable for if I say things that, are confusing at times because I see her as being such a super spiritual person. And when she was like, she want to thank God, you know, and I almost felt like she was thanking like a male God um, for letting her be a woman in this reality for making her a woman. And it's just so confusing because like she says so much profound stuff and she channel so much goddess energy, source energy. You wouldn't expect for her on a platform like that to be like, I want to thank him or thank God, because then we got to have a whole conversation about what is God to you, and like if God is source, why not say source? If God is spirit, why not say spirit? If God is energy, why not say energy? Because people naturally typically think of God as a masculine pronoun, and so yeah, I don't know. I just always am alerted when there's award ceremonies and celebrities that talk a certain way. Um, when they win an award, for some reason, they always have to thank God. And I'm like, are you thinking the God of the Matrix? Are you thinking the Lord of this reality? Is it some type of secret code that us, some people don't have access to? I don't know. But when she said, thank God for making me a woman, that threw me off because I'm like, you don't think that that was a choice that you made? You don't think that you played a part in that? You don't think that you were a part of that conversation? You think that it just it happened? Yeah, I don't know. But another thing that I wanted to ask is, so I noticed that a lot of times in shows like this, I noticed the homage that she paid to Sarah Bartman. A lot of people said she looked like a fertility statue, which I thought was neat. One of the ancient fertility goddesses. I love her creative swag. I love her creative vision. And then, I thought of Sarah Bartman as soon as I saw the look. I thought of Sarah Bartman. And I appreciate the hair under the armpits. I just love, the naturalness of who she is. I love that for her. But I feel like this is another Black History Month situation. I feel like these awards are about celebrating pick-me's. And even though Erica Badu ain't everybody pick, they will use Erica Badu. Like the industry will use Erica Badu. And she is a pick of the industry. They've used her for major films. They've used her for she's done modeling. They've used her for a whole bunch of different things. And so, as much as I love Erica Badu, as much as I live for her, this is still, we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to come together as a people if they could use our favorites to divide us? Because, if they use Beyonce for something, then it's going to be some people that's going to be willing to ride for Beyonce. If they use Erica Badu for something, it's gonna be some people that's gonna be willing to ride for her, wrong or right. And I think that's the conversation that more of us need to be willing to have, is why we will defend people wrong or right. Just some of the things that she said during her speech. I see why Laverne Cox was stumbling over her words and giving you so many cringe-worthy moments, because they tokenized, Laverne for this thing. Like Laverne was the trans token. Like the women's Billboard Awards, they literally tokenized her. Like she was the tranny token for the whole event. And while I, celebrate her, and I'm so glad that she's wearing black hair now. She looks amazing in black hair. It was just so cringy to see her be the token of the Women's Billboard Awards event. And they used one black trans girl, and they let her be the host. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily no accolades. You gonna entertain us, and you gonna introduce us. You gonna entertain us, and you gonna introduce us. And so it was just cringy to watch Laverne navigate that. And I feel like this is another Black History Month situation where it's to divide us, and they celebrating the pick me's. It was a good old pick me celebration. So, I ain't want to be too long winded on this live. I just wanted to get on here and say that, because people are making it look like, I only speak on certain things. I am a huge fan of Erykah Badu. I love Erykah Badu. I don't know that much about Dolce. I've heard a lot of good things about her and her music, and I know both of them were celebrated and they got an award on this. But just because both of them were celebrated and got an award, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna play the whole tape. And that's on period, Pooh. So I said what I said. She said some things that, it's just really set to continuously divide us. It's really set to divide us. Like, how are we gonna come together? you know um it's a lot of things that I could say in response to her speech, but if that's how she feel, that's how she feel. But the biggest thing that kind of like perplexed me is because she channels so much goddess energy, and she talks so divinely inspired, but it's like this thing that she have. um I understand the need for feminism, but I understand the need for celebrating womanhood, but I also understand that being when we become um overconfident or over righteous, that's when we set ourselves up to be the same as those who are currently in power. Like if you're doing the same thing, then how is anything changing? And so there has to be a balance. And I just don't see enough balance. It's like the ones who are fighting the fight for women to get more opportunities and for women to be seen at the table, it's like they becoming the same egomaniacs and the same ego monsters that we are trying to fight against. And so there has to be a balance. We have to do something different in order for it to actually be different. And it's like some people just want to do the same thing. So like I'm all for, women loving themselves and women celebrating themselves and women lifting themselves up. But when it comes at the detriment of others, like when you have to put somebody else down, or when you have to try to sidekick somebody else, or when you have to try to, passive aggressively send subs to reduce other people. Because when you say that women are the most intelligent beings on the planet, there are some women who are more intelligent than others. That is the truth. There's a lot of women who are super smart, but every woman on the planet is not smart. And every woman on the planet is not super smart, because if they were, they wouldn't be around here believe in these men when these men tell them that they didn't know that girl was trans. They wouldn't be around here uh, letting these men go out and have their homeboy, go out and have sex with their homeboy, and then get mad when they find out they positive because they didn't know. Like, women ain't always smart. You know, it's some men who are extremely intelligent, and it's some men who are dumb as a box of rocks. And I just don't like that. I don't like that when we exalt one gender or one sex simply because that's the gender or the sex that we belong to. Like, like I think that trans people are special. I think that trans people, I used to feel like we were closer to the divine. We were all made in the image of the divine. I used to feel like that. But if you notice, I don't still spew that rhetoric. I don't still say that all trans people is the closest likeness to God and we all are like God. We're all like the God goddess, or we're all like goddess God, because I know that some trans people are halflings. I know that some trans people want nothing more than to be like the halflings. They want to think like them. They want to talk like them. They want to act like them. They want to be accepted amongst them. I used to think that black people were all, had deeper consciousness because they, especially dark skinned people, and I realized that is not true. Some dark skinned people with dreadlocks are the sleepiest people you ever want to meet, or the most unconscious, unpresent, unaware. Like, it's to make blanket statements. It's just not true. Like, it's not true for everybody. Not all black people are woke. Not all black people are conscious. Not all trans people are in touch with their two spirit. Not all trans people are living to their capacity as whole ones or tapping into that. And not all women are the best thing since sliced bread. Not all females are the most intelligent beings on the planet. And so when I hear that rhetoric, I don't know if it's just in good competition, if it's just to make the game interesting or to make it fun. I guess I'm just speaking from this place of, feeling it from all angles, feeling it as a black person, feeling it as a queer person, feeling it as a trans person, feeling it as a person who is, you know what I'm saying, not nowhere close to the 1% or the upper middle class. Like, I'm feeling it from all angles right now. And I just really want to see more unity, more community, more connectivity, more coming together. And I just feel like, creating beef and creating division amongst us, this is a luxury that the wealthy have. And I was just a little bit triggered. I'm just gonna be honest. So, I'm just wondering, personally, what was the need for the women's Billboard Awards? Don't they have a Billboard Awards? Because then the moment too many trans women start winning on there, then y'all gonna say y'all being discriminated against. But I'm trying to figure out what is the purpose for a separate set of awards when there's already a Billboard Awards. I mean, it's given very much, division and pick me celebration, the same that I feel that, Black History Month is created to celebrate the pick me's. So that's all I got. I'm not gonna be on here forever. I got a pee pee. Anyway, I love y'all later. I wanted to say that. I was gonna say I said what I said. Love y'all later.